Ladies and gentlemen, at the time of recording this video, I am 29 and a half years old. If you look at my hairline, maybe you'd think 34, 35. But we will fix that very soon with a quick trip to Turkey. Now, a lot of you watching this are around my age. Some of you are older, some of you are younger. And all of you are different strengths at the game of chess. In today's video, I'll be showing you a very historic game. A game played between an 11-year-old boy, Faustino Oro, on the left, and a 10-year-old boy, Roman Shogdriev, on the right. This was a game played a few days ago. Just think of a game, 11 and 10 years old, local scholastic tournament. No. That is a battle between the two youngest international masters in history. They are stronger at chess than I am, and I'm almost 30. You might be watching this, I'm already 30, and they might be grandmasters. These two are on pace to become the youngest grandmasters of all time. And they played in a tournament in the UAE, and I'll be showing you this game. Just think about that. They were born in 2013 and 2015. It's crazy to think about that. For the record, Roman broke the record of Faustino to become the youngest international master in the history of chess. Faustino broke it at 10 years and 8 months. Roman became an international master at 10 years old and 3 months. 5 months earlier. Crazy. But in this match, will youth or experience prevail? E4. Here we go. E5. You already know it's a bad sign that the young boys playing in this tournament are playing E4, E5. They are not playing the Sicilian. They're not playing the Caro-Kann. They're not having any fun anymore. They are playing principled, symmetrical chess. Roman playing knight to F3. We have knight C6. Pretty amazing that, you know, these guys are the age they are, the rating they are, but they are still playing the most common position. This is the most common position of chess after 2 moves. It never really changes. Bishop to C4, and now bishop to C5. Okay, of course, you can also play knight F6. I highly doubt Roman was going to play knight G5, bishop C5, cancels, and now knight F6, and this move D3. This is uber standard classical way of playing the Italian. Before castling, white can also choose to play C3, D4, which is what I recommend for most of you. It's the most combative. There's also an opening called the Evans Gambit, and even here there's a gambit with the move D4. In general, playing aggressive Italian style is the best, in my opinion. Unless you are this level, right? So they play D3, D6. Now white chooses what to do. White can put the knight in front of the C pawn. White can also play C3 to try to play D4 and also advance these pawns in the future. There's a lot of lines as well with the bishop going to G5. And the point is that you actually bait black into playing this move G5. Very aggressive, okay? In this game, Roman plays C3. The idea is quite simple, right? You look at the time, by the way, both guys started with about 1:30 on the clock. They're gaining 30 seconds per move. That is typical classical chess, long-form chess. We have A6 from Faustino. This move has 2 purposes. Purpose 1, maybe you advance. Purpose 2, the bishop gets out of the way of the incoming pawn attack. A4 has 2 purposes as well, stopping B5 and gaining space for the long term with B4 ideas, right? And Faustino voluntarily plays bishop to A7. Now, you may be wondering, why has the 11-year-old superstar, called the Messi of Chess, why has he not castled? He's baiting his opponent. So he's waiting. He's not castling. One thing I recommend for anybody watching this that's like intermediate and early advanced player, as you get stronger at chess, you can start to violate principles a little bit more. And one of those principles is castling as fast as your opponent. Sometimes when your opponent commits their king, it gives you little attacking ideas that you don't always have to rush into a castle. For example, knight BD2, and now Faustino shows exactly why he's playing the way he's playing. He plays knight to H5. Roman puts the knight on D2. The idea of the Italian is to slide the rook over, then put the knight where the rook was, then activate the bishop, then move the knight somewhere else. This is like the little repositioning you do of your pieces. Knight H5 is immediately trying to get to the F4 square and create an attack on white's king, and also Queen F6. So black is violating certain opening principles. First of all, castle quickly. He's not doing that. Second of all, bring your queen out early. He is doing that. Third of all, even moving a same piece multiple times in the opening. But he's 24, 65, and he's 11, and you're 4, 65, and 40 years old probably. So, like, you gotta pay attention to the 11-year-old kid. I'm paying attention, all right? Like, he's obviously got something up his sleeve. I've never seen this before, so I'm gonna see what he's up to. So rook 2e1, okay? Queen f6. How is the 11-year-old chess prodigy playing the Italian in a way that I've never seen before, man? I've been alive for 3 decades. I've been playing chess for more than 2. All right, knight to f1. He doesn't even care. He just puts the knight right on f4. Now, this whole plan is not good. Let's put it this way. It's not bad, but it's not good, right? And Roman, 14 minutes takes here. And now the best way to play here with white is actually to just fight back. It's to play knight to e3. Of course, if the bishop takes, you can take this with the rook or with the pawn. Both are good. But really, you're trying to go here. And I think Roman must have not known what to do after the move knight e7. And yeah, it kind of makes sense. Because black's position is actually quite nice. This knight counteracts this knight. Black has a very nice position. You play a move like g3, just go back. Play knight d5, of course we trade. So here, Roman falls into the trap of the pressure of your opponent's preparation. You start the game with 90 minutes per player. After 11 moves, you are down half an hour. You are down 1/3 of the time because your opponent knows the game better than you. So what do? You offer a queen trade. You have a feeling it's not the best move, but you also have a feeling that now the experienced player on the other side, who is 1.5 years older than you, has to spend some time on his own, and he does. He spends some time, right? That's probably the best move. Queen takes, knight takes, and so now black has a small advantage in this position. Why? You look at this position, and I ask a beginner or an intermediate, I say, black is minus 0.2. Why? Black has the bishop pair. Pure, simple explanation. White had to give up his bishop for the knight. And the thing is, when you enter this silent trading of bishop for knight, you both get something out of it. Generally, the person that's giving away the bishop, right, ends up getting the knight and has better control of a certain color. 3 pieces can fight for the light squares. Only 2 of these can fight for the light squares, but only 1 can fight for the dark squares. The person that doesn't have the dark squared bishop wants to put pawns on dark squares because that will make the dark square stronger. White can't do that. He's never going to be able to play d4. He's not going to be able to play f4 because he will hang his king. So Faustino is better. And he needs to play energetically. And the best way to play energetically is to prepare knight e7 and maybe the move f5 and various pawn breaks. Bishops like open space. So knight to e7. But knight to e7 was not the best move. In fact, playing f5 straight away was the best move. And now Roman plays knight e3. So stopping any advancements in the middle. Faustino, very patient player. I have played him online. He's annoying, man. He's annoying. He plays moves like this. He's very good at doing nothing. Just plays bishop d7. Maybe he's going to castle this way. Maybe he's going to castle this way. Maybe he's not going to castle at all. Okay. Knight to f3 from Roman. Just moving the knight. Preparing this move d4, by the way, which is now a little bit more possible because this knight left. And now this very nice move f6. Multiple purposes of the move f6. Purpose number 1, defend the invasion of the knight. Purpose number 2, start your own attack. This is going to be a defender of this pawn storm. Right? Makes a lot of sense. Roman now is like, okay, so my 11-year-old opponent is not going to be able to castle this way. Means he's going to castle that way. Which means I should throw a couple of warning shots. a5, because he's going to move his king over here, and I've got to threaten him a little bit. He castles that way anyway. Roman plays b4. Black is slightly better. And black is slightly better because he needs to now play with energy. He needs to play like g5, etc. But first, he does what Faustino does best, which is c6. Just a waiting move. Controlling more squares. Black is really setting a bunch of little spikes so that white can just never cross into the position. But c6 is too slow, and after d4, which is the move that I told you a few moves ago, white could not play, white is actually doing quite well, okay? He has put a bunch of pawns on the dark squares. This bishop is now nowhere near as effective. But Faustino given that he is such an experienced player with so many years in his career of playing at this level, he also plays very fast. So it's annoying to play him because he does nothing, but he plays really quickly as well, right? So d4, rook e8. He could have went g5, king, rook. He could have done a lot. He plays rook e8. Okay, so now white has to think for a little bit. He also brings his rook to the middle. Faustino plays king c7. He's still not doing anything. He's making little improvements. He's defending himself. He's bringing his king because the king is a useful endgame piece. At this point, Roman resorts to doing something kind of hilarious. Like, white does not have any easy forward moves, so he plays bishop f7. But he's spending too much time. 8 minutes on bishop f7 is unnecessary. And the funny thing about this move is you just want the rook to move, and then you just come back. You haven't changed anything except you've shifted the rook over by 1 square. Now, again, the best thing to do is to launch the attack. Faustino goes here. Repeating the position. So he's kind of playing mind games. He's like, let's make a draw. Roman goes here. But he spends 3 minutes. Faustino goes here. Roman goes here. Faustino plays bishop here. Look, he doesn't repeat the position. So the 11-year-old is playing mind games with the 10-year-old. He's bullying him. It's like, draw? Nope, no draw. No, we're going to keep playing. I still have a 14-minute time advantage. Pawn takes e5. And Roman kind of falters here. He should have kept doing nothing. He could have played h3. He could have kind of waited, but he takes. This is a massive change in the position. Why? First of all, you're changing the structure, right? If pawn takes, the knight jumps in, but d takes e5. But also the bishop now comes alive. Like the bishop diagonal is just simply opened, and that could play a role later in the game. A better move could have been, like I said, h3 or just still waiting. Obviously, he didn't like something. He didn't like that something was about to happen. Also, you can sometimes see a ghost. Now he begins trading. So he trades a pawn, trades a rook, and he's like, well, with less pieces on the board, you know, my very experienced opponent of 11 years can't outplay me when I trade all his pieces, and then I plant the bishop firmly on the e6 square. Faustino very calmly puts the king back on c7. He's not doing anything. Maybe he will break with c5. He's going to try to get his bishop out. He's going to try to split these pawns up, right? Try to put something on the c6 square. It's just a patient game. 11 minutes on the clock for Roman, who plays knight c4. But this is not where his knight belongs. Again, maybe a better move, king f1. Like the computer just wants to kind of do nothing. Really, don't touch anything. Not easy to do. He goes knight c4. Faustino very quickly zips the bishop over here. Just a vague idea to maybe take here and then put the knight on, on the f4 square and put the rook over here. Faustino just likes to make simple improving moves that put pieces on better squares. Like that's the type of style of chess that he plays. Again, it's crazy you can be 11 and play chess like that. Because it's much more normal to be like Roman, who's a little bit younger and kind of like losing control of the game just slightly when there's not much to do. Faustino like thrives in these positions, which is how you know he's going to be a problem. Because once he, gains a lot of experience, he'll be really difficult to play against. Bishop h5, rook d1, and very practically, rook d8. See, a lot of people here would be thinking like, I don't want to trade all the pieces. Because if I trade all the pieces, I don't have a lot of winning chances. He just plays rook d8. The threat was rook d7. He could have defended it with the bishop. But we enter a minor piece endgame. Like most 11-year-olds like to sacrifice their pieces, go for attacks, go for checkmate, play very fast. Faustino is 11, but plays old man chess. He plays like he's 111. He just gets an endgame of knight and 2 bishops versus 2 knights and a bishop, and he's better. I already told you this. I told you this. He's better because in the long run, the presence of the bishops will be felt. It looks like you have knight d6, right? It looks like you have some of these. None of them work. So g4. This is a massive reaction to the presence of the bishop, and when you play a very committal move like this, holes open up in your territory. Pawns don't go backwards, in case you didn't know that before you clicked on the video. Bishop g6 targets the pawn, knight fd2, and now Faustino plays c5. I've been telling you about this move for a while. You look at the position, it looks equal. Both guys, you count 7 pawns, 3 pieces each, and a king, but it's not equal. Because in the long run, One guy has all his pawns on the same color as this bishop, and he has no defense. And the white bishop can't get close to those pawns, right? So c5, knight into d6. When you get low on time and you feel the position slipping out of control, that is when you blunder. Actually, the best move here for white was unfindable. The best move is to take, splitting up your pawns completely, and then going g5, trying to remove the defender of this pawn. Obviously, for black, the best line is not to take. And then white gets this and plays this endgame. I don't know how you can possibly tell me that, but he tries to play knight d6, but this trade is better for black. Faustino does it, and now these pawns are very soft. These pawns are very, very, very soft. The king goes, first the knight goes to c6, he gives up the pawn with a check, but taking it traps the knight, because then you have to go here, and what's going to happen now is you lose the outside pawn. Folks, the worst pawn to be down in an endgame is an outside pass pawn. When you have a pawn on A or H with nobody stopping its path, it's going to be a very difficult defensive task, which is why after knight d6 takes, knight c6 was played. Roman reinforced the position, but he has to give away the pawn on b4. Faustino takes the pawn on b4. King f1 now, 58 seconds to 26. 11 versus 10 years old. Even a year is such a difference at this level, because Faustino has played so many Grandmaster round robin tournaments, right? And he's a very experienced player, as crazy as that is to say. King c7, right? He's just gonna try, like, these pawns are gonna probably win black the game. Like, you best believe those pawns are gonna win black the game. h4, Roman going for it. Bishop c5, black is winning. You see, minus 2.7, knight is hanging. Gotta move the knight. Now, black can take. Why? Because after this, knight c6, this pawn will simply fall. Now it's a race. Will Roman successfully break through on this side of the board, or will Faustino win this pawn, queen, and win? g5. The best move now is knight to d4. Okay, bishop b7 is played, takes, bishop takes f6, now h5. Repositioning your bishop to a more passive square was a mistake, but Faustino tries to counteract that with bringing the king and activating the knight. Now, actually, here after bishop d5, the advantage is not as big, so black could defend here, especially if black is stockfish. Sorry, if white could defend here if white is stockfish. h6, excellent, by the way. Amazing defensive tenacity here, not allowing this pawn to be frozen. He understands that damaging the pawn structure and going after this pawn is the better way to play for a draw. Incredibly, this is the better way to play for a draw, just leaving these pawns. But okay, he does this, and here it's only around -1, so Roman, the 10-year-old, with what? By the way, do you see that white? He played this move with 1 second on the clock. His time gets added back, but he played bishop takes with 1 second on the clock. 1 second on the clock. And then he's going to get his time added next move. But now Faustino is very confident. He's going to try to pick this up. Knight g4 is a draw. And Roman misses it. Knight g4 would have led to this. Bishop g5, f6, h5. And I guess Roman just must have thought this position was losing, but it's actually not losing. Can you imagine if he saved this game with 10 seconds on the clock by playing knight g4 here? But he doesn't go knight g4, he goes bishop g8, the bishop reactivates, and it's just a matter of shuffling around, and this is winning. Why is it winning? Because of everything I already told you. These two pawns are unstoppable. I told you that those two pawns would be decisive. He stops the bishop from attacking them, he stops this, and even though you lose this pawn, the pawns go. a5, a4, king c5, king b6, king c5, and that's it. This is a nightmare because you are down 3 passed pawns and you don't have the ability to stop them. This is promoting, and here on the 65th move of the game, the seasoned veteran Faustino Oro defeated the youngest international master of all time, Roman Shukjiv. So there you go. This was the game, and just a quick update for you. Okay, this is really crazy. So at the time of making this, Faustino defeated his young opponent, and I'm just looking at the standings of the tournament. Faustino, after 5 rounds, has 4.5 out of 5. Okay, so his performance rating is 2750. He has 4.5 out of 5. And Roman, I'm trying to find him now. Roman in this tournament has 3 out of 5. So he's about break even. He has 3 wins and 2 losses. And it looks like as of recording this, he's heading for a 3rd loss. He will have 3 out of 6. Whereas Faustino Oro could be heading to 5 out of 6, if not 5.5. So obviously, even though they are just a year apart, and I've been joking about it throughout this video, Faustino has way more experience. He's played in World Rapid and Blitz Championship. He's played a lot of Grandmaster Norm Round Robins. He's played Vishy Anand in matches. A year is a huge difference, even at 10 and 11 years old. But I just thought it was hilarious that the 2 youngest IMs of all time played in a tournament, and the older one won the game. So there you go. They are both on pace to maybe break the all-time Grandmaster record, which is like 12 years old and something. But yeah, just absolutely insane. And pretty soon we will have 9-year-old international masters. For now, though, we can rejoice, and so can my hairline. That's all I have for you today. If you'd like to improve your chess, you know where to find me. Try Chessly, my educational platform. You get a free trial, no card required. Link is in the description. And get out of here.